This is just an AMZN on Monday, May 14th, 2018. Looking at the pre-market. So the last 2 days we opened up above the 1607 price and came back to it. Had some consolidation here. My guess is, okay, first of all, we're opening below it, which means we could actually move lower, but I mean, the last 2 days it's come back to it, at least for part of the day. So let's see if we come back into 1607 and then do something. I mean, I don't know what after that, but you know, let's look for it to come back into the same level, just continue sideways a little bit more today until something significant happens. So we get a little bit of bearish momentum here. Pre-market, you know, some selling from up here, but it's only a few bucks. I mean, it wouldn't be too difficult for it to come back up. So get into the day and throw a wick up there, which is interesting. So it kind of is rejecting that level on the wick, even though it's a buying candle. We've got a little more volume than yesterday, but less than the day before. I mean, this is pretty low volume for all of this going on in here. So you know, with this, you could get embarrassed with the breakdown below this level to roll down some more. You could go bullish above this level, but I mean, the 1607 price has been key the last few days. So, you know, let's see if we can do something, get some smaller candles in here, do something like, I don't know, something like this midday or like this midday where it goes bullish or goes bearish, something like this where we're consolidating in here, right? You know, even if we consolidated to the 1608 to 1607 range somewhere, that's what we've done the last 2 days, and then seen some moves from that. So that's what we're going to look for today. Okay, so here's a candle that goes up. You're going to be fighting some resistance here. That's where to close. Resistance here and here. And then, you know, obviously all these levels here. So you're right at that 1610 price. A little bit higher. It does actually look like it's breaking up. Okay, if it's going to continue, you want to see a little bit of a rest. But as I said, we're going to look for some smaller candles right here dancing around on this line for what we're looking for. So there's another large candle come back in. That's a nice buying candle. Not quite the consolidation, you know, something like these candles where you got, you know, 15, 20 minutes in a row of smaller candles. You want to see this rest a little bit right here on the line if it's going to do it. Now, this could totally just be bought up right here. Could rally, and if you've got a different plan, you can get in at 1609 with a stop down at 1606. Looking for, you know, a move up to like 1617 or something. You know, that's possible too. Oh, sorry. And then it breaks down. So it's not bouncing there. Comes back up. All right, so we got some chop right there on the line, some larger candles. All right, here's a couple smaller candles right here. Similar to maybe that one, just that one, and then that one happened and then it broke down. So it's nice to have a little bit of buying right here off of this line like we got yesterday with this candle. Very similar range that you could, you know, go bearish here by here. So kind of the flip of this play, but get in bearish 1607 with a stop up at 1610. Take it down to the low of the day or yesterday's low, something like that. Could work, but it broke bullish, broke out a little bit above the wick. Come back in, so this starts to look like a bit of a double top or just a retest of this level again. A little bit of consolidation here, lower highs, higher lows. That's reminiscent of this move yesterday that ended up breaking down. So we could look for, again, some consolidation right here on the line. Okay, so there's your double top forming, breaking down a little bit. So this is interesting here now. We've taken out this low. This is like a neckline. And you just retested that neckline of a double top right in this area. You got 20 minutes, 25 minutes maybe of some consolidation right here. This is actually looking very similar to this kind of breakdown. Then it retested, then it rolled down. Similar to this, you know, this 15 minute or 25 minutes here where it just consolidated in this level. Actually a little bit more, probably 30 something. And then ended up going nowhere into the close. But this could really break down. So it looks like it's starting to reject that line right there. This could go bearish. Yeah, nice triangle forming. So if you want to go bearish 1606 by 1608. So $2 risk. That's easily a 2-to-1 by the close if you get filled here, and much more when you, if and when you come all the way down this far. So let's see what happens. Okay, it's not breaking down now. We got a little bit of looser stop up to 1608, and that would help you because it retested a little more, and then didn't trigger in, but it actually would have triggered in on this candle somewhere down in here. So we'll come back and look at the options at 10:20 a.m. Central Time and see what's going on with this. If this is too tight of a stop, could have gotten one up here, or even this far away, and just reduced the amount of reward you would see. So it's a nice candle, still low volume, but you got the bearishness here. So we'll see if this retests a little bit into the 1606 price, and definitely get our stop at 1608 for $2 risk. So that's moving, comes back up. Look at that, a retest. This would have triggered in, second chance to enter instead of the breakdown. Get in on the retest, and our stop is up at 1608 easily. Some consolidation. This is nice, 20 minutes of consolidation. Some indecision here in the morning. Looking for this to roll over. You definitely broke down that support. You've got your stop up here at this resistance, and pretty soon here we'll move our stop down to 1607 if this does actually continue down, take a little bit off of the low of the day. We've not fired our squeeze yet, but there's lots of bearish momentum. This could totally keep going. Nice little sideways action. Okay, so we're coming up here. I'm going to leave my stop at 1608. This looks like a double bottom, and the only thing going for me is the lower highs and this line, so I'm going to keep my stop above that. Sure, you could tighten up your stop to 1607, get stopped out for potentially half an hour loss there, or keep your space here. You knew going into it you were okay losing an hour. Let's get a little more time, give it a little more time to work, and see if it'll actually roll over. Because this is a really nice textbook retest. I was going to say textbook retest, and it didn't come out right. Double bottom here. Here's your neckline. It could actually break up, come back down, but you're giving it some room with the stop at 1608. And there you go. Through an upper wick, looked like it was going to go a little further. It was good not to have a stop right at 1600. Would have been stopped out for half an hour and kicking yourself for moving that stop. This is a nice bearish engulfing candle. We're right back down here at these lows. I'm going to get down to 1603 real soon. We fired the squeeze also. Another retest. Okay, that's actually looking like it's reversing. Now you're doing, this was like a quick retest. Now you got a secondary retest. If this comes back up again, get that stop real tight on these candles to reduce your risk a little bit. If it breaks down, I guess get your stop in the same place. So whichever way it happens, all right, came right back up. We're going to put a stop right here at 1607.70, something like that, and see what happens next. And probably got wicked out right there. And just sideways, and then starts to break down. And this is a really good one to learn from. So it actually just made a relative high right here, made a relative low right here, and just chopped around in this area until something let it go a little bit more bearish. It was even when you had bullish momentum building up. So I probably would have been stopped out in here if it got filled. I don't know that I would have kept my stop up here that much longer when it wasn't really working in my favor. Where we got in 1608 by, or I'm sorry, 1606 by 1608. So I have a loss here of almost a full R, and then it's rolled over, and I would have been profitable, just 35 minutes later. But that's the plan. So in this case, that would have been a trade that lost. But there's some other opportunities here to get back in potentially, if that's in your trading plan. So this indecision candle we actually broke down bearish. We're pausing right here, which is enough time for this to pause, and you're holding this support really well. If this gets below 1604.50, the low of the day is an easy target, and then probably something a little bit lower. So let's see, and there it goes. So an indecision candle right on that support decided to break down. We've actually pushed below the low of the day. This looks really reminiscent of yesterday, where it came down, retested, and rolled back down. So we'll see if we have anything similar to that today. And looks like it retests a little bit. Oh, it's a nice retest. This would have been a nice opportunity to get in on that trade up here. Looking for it to roll over. You could have gotten in below these lows. 1604 by 1606 would be a nice setup. Just looking at the candles, and there you go. It starts to roll over. Look at that S curve here. So there's some curves around in here, but this is a breakdown, S curve retest, breakdown, and now you're all the way down to 1600. If you got in at 1604 by 1606, you're right about a 2R down here. Had you still been in from up here for, what was it, 1606 by 1608, you're up almost 3R right now. So phenomenal move on this. And it looks like we are going to form another S-curve, maybe come back up and roll down lower. Great to see, but we're also nearing, well, we still have a little bit of time left in the day. So this starts to look like a double bottom in here, but we've just come in and now we're indecisive on the previous low of the day and the yesterday's closing price. So it makes sense to have some indecision right here about which way it's going to go. We filled that gap up, pretty much right at the morning. But here it is again, that same level back in contention. So it looks like just going to grind. So it looked like it was going to roll over again, but then it came up. Just looks like it's going to kind of grind sideways, which is exactly what's happening. All right, so there's the end of the day. We came down not quite as low as yesterday's low, but we had this low here, tying to this one, a fake out for anybody else still shorting, buying up, stopping out anybody else at this level, and really pushing you to get your order in to do something with this, either to trade it, get out, get in, whatever it is. But just kind of meandering around in here. A nice triangle breakout with a nice retest. This would have been a good game, but if you had held it, it would have just been losing you some money, or at least not breaking, getting to break even level here. Maybe you held back down to here. I don't know, but I know I've been worried at this point. It's like, oh no, should I move my stop sooner and locked some in at the low here, or just waited? I didn't expect this retest. That's some of the mentality going on in the trade. So after hours, just like yesterday, consolidated in the same area here, just seeing what's going to happen. If we come back in here and look at some of the candles for this breakdown, let's actually look at this. Let's say you got in here after this bearish move, came back up, retested. So this is, let's see, leading up into the 1 o'clock, 12:55. So let's come over here to the put. Here's the put at 12:55. Where are we? This one. Okay. Got in for, you could have gotten in for 10 and stopped down at 9. Look at that. 10 by 9. Taking that to 2R. Oh, that's so close to 12. That's almost, what is that, 12 on the nose. So if that happened, I mean, that's the previous high in the day. You hopefully would have been setting up something to get out at like 11.75 or something a little bit below the 12. And that would have been a nice 2R, almost 2R to the option high, which was the stocks low, previous low right here. So even though it moved that quickly, that steeply, after this consolidation, the price down here is the same as the option price here. That's just how the option works with this week's expiration. So not too much bullishness in here. Nothing really clear to take it bullish. Maybe this level at the open, but again, you would have just had to be really nimble to just get in and get out on something like that. And it moved all right. This is the 1600 call, and sorry, the 1600 put expiring this Friday. So let's see, is this week? I think this week is options monthly expiration. So should have some volume coming in by Friday, but for right now, we're looking at just really a lot of consolidation. I was trying to find something that looked like this way back in this triangle and just not really seeing it. Maybe something like this a little bit right in here, have some consolidation. This could totally just break up. We had 2 candles here that gapped up and went sideways, then raised higher. Just going to zoom out of this. So we had these 2 candles gap up, bullish gap and go, didn't really go. And then you had these 2 candles, bullish gap and go, and it ran. Here's 2 candles again after some sideways consolidation. Tomorrow we could get a gap up and it just run. Totally, absolutely possible. We've rested, just like here, we've rested that long. Up in here we had some smaller candles. These candles were smaller compared to these. But the potential is definitely there, especially if it opens above, let's say, the 1620, because then you're trapping everybody from over here who were the ones here getting on bearish again, probably the ones here getting on bearish again, pushing this lower. It could totally just rip higher. Indecision candle here could totally just rally higher, and maybe high 1600s is the next target, something up there. I don't know, but that's what I'd be watching out for. One of the big differences here is we had some consolidation below the 21 exponential. We had the 100 down here. If this goes bullish, it's going to be really hard for me to say it's going to stay going that path for a long time. it stands to reason that it's going to come back down in here to the 100 simple and at least retest, bounce, maybe break down. But that'll be really key to see, how we recover back down to that price and what's going on. So just looking at a couple of their candles, here's a pair of candles that continued, bearish candles that continued. Yeah, there's a lot of them that come into play here. So stay tuned, and we'll take a look at what we can do on the 5 minute. One other thing I'll point on this is you had kind of relative lower highs all day, like this downward channel like we saw a few days ago. Similar to this, but not quite. But breakdown here, nice indecision here, breakdown, retest it back to that level. Forget about the triangle, the downtrend. I mean, that's the idea, is to be a little more bearish, but it's playing out right in front of you right here. So anyway, this is just AMZN. Hope you enjoyed.